I adopted him from a friend who had just adopted him, and then they found out she had cancer. And so, long story short, like I ended up just taking him. I have a sweet little budgie that's 3 and talks up a storm, and so
polar opposite.
Yeah. Like I did a little bit of research before I agreed to take this guy off their hands, and now I'm like, so I have to make it work because, you know what I mean, it would break her heart, and
yeah.
I got it. I have your pellets, but he's not. I grind his pellets up and put them in scrambled eggs and like.
Yeah, I was reading that. You're doing all the tricks.
But
so
I just
try. Have you tried ground flaxseed and adding that to it? So if you get brown flaxseed and you grind it up to a powder and you add that in, it gives a nutty flavor and also gives them like their omegas without doing anything harmful to anything.
Okay.
It's just like you could keep that up for the rest of his life and it won't hurt him.
Okay.
So I actually add it to my seasonal feeding every time I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Monty!
There we go. Oh, there's poop.
Awesome.
Oh, he knows it too. That's awesome.
So I just suggested in order to set him up for success and not have him be too scared to just open the carrier and let him walk himself onto the stand so we could start with him there. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. So why don't you go ahead and show us just like what an interaction looks like, where you guys are having successes. So one thing I would love to see you get in the habit of is when you hand the treat, not having the target stick in the same hand. Only because when you do it, sometimes it's like, do you want to take the treat or do you want to touch the target? And they're like, both, because it's the same outcome.
Okay.
So it'll just be clearer in your training going forward. If you're just like presenting the target as a cue, they touch the target, you remove that cue, and you replace it with giving the treat.
Can you target him back onto the perch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can target him all the way down to the ground if you want me to. Like, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if he'll go onto the perch. Personally, I'd like to keep him off the ground just for attention reasons. This is more isolated and controlled.
Yeah.
He seems super content on that, so I would be curious to see what you've tried as far as how hard you push him to get onto your skin, or like if your hand's completely covered, will he go onto it?
Okay, so this is what I've tried. I say we step up, Monty. Well, I'll let you stretch first. Big stretch.
Gosh, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you step up? And so that's his initial reaction, and then I'm done, and I like usually talk to one of my kids or the dog or whatever, you know, and then come back and I try up.
Oh, nice.
And so that's as much as he will do right there, and then I usually click it and give him a treat for it.
Okay.
So let's work on that.
Okay. I mean, I've been doing that for months, and it hasn't gotten any better. It's exactly the same. And I know I clicked it a little too soon, but...
So actually, I'm going to click for you on this next one to show you where I would click.
Okay. I've learned a lot from watching you guys' videos because I went into it to completely blind 3 years ago when we got our budgie. Okay.
So I click for him touching your finger because that's the So think of a clicker as taking a picture of the exact moment you want to repeat. So you heard the actual camera back here. We're trying to capture that exact moment so we can remember it and see it more and more.
Okay.
That's what the click indicates. So previously, you've trained targeting. Awesome. Targeting still has its purpose. We are then transitioning targeting to get a behavior we want. So we're using what he's willing to do to get something we want him to do. And the instant that foot touches your finger, that's the new trick. So this next one, hold the target slightly further back, and I'm going to click when he steps on your foot, but make the target just out of reach.
Okay.
So that he may not actually end up touching the target. It's okay. I want him to start to understand that the click is for stepping on your foot, or on your finger.
Okay.
Cool. And treat. So with this one, did you notice how he was like willing to kind of hang on to your finger? Keep your right finger as still as you can so he trusts it. Because right now, it may be a moving object that he doesn't trust is secure. So see how long you can keep your right hand perfectly still while you're manipulating the stick to encourage him to stay a little longer, until he eventually gives up and then you give the treat.
Can you step up?
Good entry. Now I want to see something completely different. On this one, I want to have him step here. Will he step up on there fine?
Yeah. And then he'll instantly like right up to my neck.
He will run up there. Okay.
Yeah.
I
mean, I can get him to come back down by targeting him down here. But see, that's just it. When I'm trying to do it myself,
do you need to target him onto your sleeve, or will he naturally step up?
If I show him the treat, he'll step up on my arm. I don't have to target him on my arm.
Okay, so let's look at this next one as luring.
Okay.
Okay. Now, luring in general is not something you want to use as like the primary reason to get him to go somewhere, but for some purposes, it has a very clear use.
Okay.
And so think you might be luring him. That's fine.
All right.
And so, I want him to be able to get, leave your sleeve however you can to where we get just even a foot to touch.
And so he'll do that once, and then like the second time
he's more willing to do it.
He'll step on it. So I have to. There's like repetitions involved. Like I put my time in with him. I work out of the home, but every morning I get up and I work with him in like eating. I do this before I give him his food in the morning, and then he's out for about 2.5 hours. Then he goes in his cage. And then he's back out from the time I get home till he's done eating and it's bedtime. So
I honestly think it shows. Like I know you feel like you're not doing enough and like it's not enough progress because you have a budgie in comparison that you've done amazing work with. But to me, with all the Indian Ringnecks we see, I mean, they would have been all over the room. They would have been crashing. They would have been freaking out. They would have been high-pitched screaming. Like this is...
He's good. He's calm. Yeah, it's really clear.
He's got the cutest mannerisms too. Like he's adorable.
Yeah, you're doing well. Oh, come on, bud. One more foot.
Come on. Good boy.
There we go.
That's okay. We'll take that. Now the next time, instead of having him here, have him try to be here.
Yeah, okay.
And the next time, a little here. And then if you have to kind of lure him towards your fingers to give him the treat, that's totally fine.
And then the only thing I would add to that is just keeping your arm really stationary, because just so that he feels like he can retreat and go back at any time. If he feels like once he goes on the island moves away from where his comfort zone is, that's where you're going to get a lot of resistance.
And that's what I do, like so that
You move away?
I do, because I didn't know any better, you know.
So
and
here's what what staying does is it gives him control.
Okay.
And he gets to say, I'm going to stay here because I'm feeling confident and comfortable in this repetition. Or I'm feeling uncomfortable with you, so I want to retreat. Having the option to always retreat will make him feel more comfortable staying. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Here. It's okay, just stay.
So don't treat him
give
up
him
there.
the treat
Treat
up
him
there.
down here.
Come here.
So even if you have to target him, can you get him over just a touch? There. See how he touched your skin?
Yep.
That's the behavior I want.
So I do think that he is associating it as like a trained behavior to do the 1 foot, because he's anticipating getting the treat for the 1 foot and immediately like pulls back.
Yeah, because maybe I made that mistake by clicking every time he'd put his foot on there.
Dang. I'll let you touch it.
He's just smart.
It's like
It's like Ruby.
Ruby, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So the struggle is real with this Indian ringneck at this masterclass, and both Dave and I have both tried to work with this bird and tried to get him to put both feet on our hands, and he will willingly do one, but two is just not even on the table for this bird. And so we start brainstorming, like, why is this, and why has she been at the same place for months not being able to make any progress? It's just not normal, and it seems like a learned behavior in a sense. And so we start talking, and we bring up Ruby, the African gray. Now, if you haven't seen Ruby's videos on the channel, definitely check them out. It will blow your mind how this bird is with her owner. We draw a lot of comparisons to Ruby the African Gray, and we tell her story to this masterclass. And in this masterclass, she seems to be able to draw some correlations to the past that Ruby the African Gray had, and why she wouldn't step up for her owner with 2 feet and only 1, and why her current bird is doing the same thing. And it all comes down to clipping and past trauma. Yeah, it translates for sure, but you can see how he thinks that's the behavior.
Not that one.
There you go.
When he first started coming out of his cage after a couple weeks, he wouldn't come out of the cage. Then when he did, he'd get to the top, and then I don't think he knew his wings were clipped. Yeah, now that I think about it, he didn't get hurt, but he definitely, I mean, we have a tall cage, you know, and it's
Yeah.
pretty big. I just don't think it's big. Yeah.
Couldn't feel good, right? So
Right, exactly.
So that's probably the association, which
Yeah.
is why he escapes you having that control over him as far as being on your hands and your arm, and he goes up here because he knows that he's in 100% control, hanging on and not falling.
Because I watched your videos and it said keep the bird down here, so I did my best to keep him down here, and then he just started migrating up here, and well, I don't know how to get him off of there because he's scared of my hand, and so then I would go back over to the cage and he would just jump on the cage. Yeah. So I guess like the two main things that I was really glad that you guys let me come to this class is I really need him to be able to step up so I can just move him from the kitchen counter.
Right.
You know, because otherwise I'm standing there like a dumbass holding that thing like, come on, come on. And then just more used to my kids. Like he will take treats from my kids, he'll target from my kids, but now that I gotta pay attention more of when, because I'm letting them do the clicking, so that's probably part of the problem too.
Don't let them do the clicking.